Chapter 96: How Guhai Takes Revenge. Fairy Winner's body turned into a handful of flames and burned away. Guhai hugged the disappearing flame in grief, and after a while, Guhai shuddered. Driving his flying boat, he flew away towards the far south. Not long after Guhai's flying boat disappeared, the original place where Immortal Wanna died. But a woman in red suddenly appeared. The woman covered her veil and watched Guhai's flying boat slowly leave, getting farther and farther away from Metropolis City. Guhai left and drove the flying boat, trying to suppress the Samadhi True Flame in his body. After a while, the Samadhi True Flame was completely suppressed back to the fire god. Swallowing some pills, Guhai turned his head towards Metropolis City with red eyes. Wanna, I promise you to return to Chogai, but our enemy is still alive. He's in Metropolis, Jiong. I'll kill him and leave. You want me to forget about you? Impossible. Hehe, heya haha. Guhai revealed a trace of hideous sadness. Turning his head, Guhai looked in the direction of Metropolis City, his eyes growing more and more hideous. Jiong, I didn't want to kill you, but you put me to death. Kill my beloved wife. Guhai's fists clenched. The flying boat continued to the south and soon flew between a mountain forest. Guhai wiped his eyes. All the tears in his eyes evaporated, and all the red threads disappeared, obviously not wanting to reveal a vulnerable side in front of his subjects. Who are you? The flying boat landed in the valley. The valley, however, surrounded a large group of people. Your Majesty. Giant Foal instantly greeted them. The great Hom group of ministers, all of whom had retreated in their entirety, were now looking at Guhai joyfully. However, Guhai's face was incredibly gloomy at the moment. Your Majesty, we all came out. Can we go now? Rulu laughed. You guys go first. I still have things to deal with, Guhai said in a deep voice. Huh, the crowd revealed a trace of doubt. Rulu, you'll vanish another long tunnel for me, and after that, you guys will immediately return to Kaoj, and wait for me at Kaoj, Guhai said in a deep voice. Your Majesty won't go with us. Rulu was slightly stunned. You guys go back first, Guhai ordered. Yes, the group of ministers answered. Giant Foot took out a map. Guhai pointed on the map, made arrangements for the great Hom group of ministers, and walked to the side where a cave was. Your Majesty, you're still going back to Metropolis, Rulu worriedly said. Do your own thing. I don't need you to care about my affairs, Guhai said in a deep voice. Yes, Rulu nodded with a solemn expression. After Guhai made the arrangements, he sealed its cave entrance and followed the tunnel back to the city. In the city, there was still a great revenge yet to be avenged. Jiong must die. After traveling through the tunnel for a while, Guhai arrived at Metropolis City. There were no more tremors in Metropolis, at least when Guhai returned to the mountain villa he bought from the underground tunnel. Guhai Mountain Villa. A group of Shenji battalion disciples returned to the mountain villa and looked at the sky above Metropolis City along with Li Shenji. The black hole at the entrance of the 9-9 sealed sun formation that Guhai and Fairy Winner had opened earlier had disappeared. No, or rather, the black hole expanded, expanding to cover the sky over a small half of Metropolis City. In the sky, as if it was a mirage, a shadowy image appeared. A huge city of light and shadow floated above Metropolis City. In the image was a huge imperial palace. The palace walls stood in a clear pattern. In the four directions of the palace, there were large flags fluttering, and written on the flags was the word killing in large letters. The palace is divided into three large areas. The central one seems to be the main palace area, floating a large number of chair cohesion, a huge golden dragon, hovering over the main palace. The largest palace below the mouth of the plaque, written on the word God Palace, surrounded by a general wearing armor. These generals, all standing straight, motionless. Seems to be a corpse in general, has long been no sound, but the body still exudes a ferocious gas, seems to be dead, not dead in general. More than 5 million generals, surrounded by the Divine Palace. Divine Palace on both sides, a left and a right. There are two palace group. The left side of the gusts of white light, like the vast and righteousness spread out, endless. Above the plaque at the mouth of the largest palace, the word Wengong is written. However, the ground is countless withered bones, exceptionally eerie. The right side, with gusts of black gas disk knee, very fierce. The largest palace at the plaque, written martial arts palace 2 words. The ground was also flat with countless dead bones. At this moment, the entire city was a quiet place, looking together at the picture of the 3 palaces in the sky. The mountain villa that Gu Hai had bought. Li Shenji's eyes narrowed slightly. Battalion Master, is this the interior of the 9-9 sealed sun formation? The entrance that Gu Hai opened earlier. That black hole absorbed countless substances, before transforming into this curtain of light that lay flat in the air. These 3 palace clusters, they are the imperial palaces of the Great Killing Heaven dynasty. A subordinate said in surprise. Not bad. In the Great Killing Heaven dynasty, the Divine Palace is the main palace, with the Cultural Palace on the left and the Martial Palace on the right. Within the Palace of Literature, there are endless secret methods of the Book Tao, all of which were taken by force from the Great Killing Heaven dynasty's previous conquests of the world. Among them, there are even 2 volumes of the sacred Tao book scriptures, which are the greatest treasure for the literary cultivators of the Great Killing Heaven dynasty. Li Shenji said in a deep voice, in the Palace of Literature, there are 2 volumes of the Holy Tao book scriptures hidden. No wonder Gong Yongsheng, the sacrificer of the State Scholarship Academy, couldn't move his legs when he learnt of the news. Sacred Tao book scriptures, the highest achievement of the Book Tao. A subordinate was surprised. The white vast and righteous chess shrouded is the Palace of Literature. That black chess surrounded is the Palace of Martial Arts. What's inside? A subordinate said curiously. I don't know either, but it's definitely not something mortal, Li Shenji said in a deep voice. A central divine palace, surrounded by the corpses of 5 million armies. That's the bodies of 5 million divine blood armies. That day, the souls of the divine blood army came out to return to their bodies. A subordinate's eyes lit up. Together, everyone looked towards the center, the area surrounded by chair. There, the great army, still ferocious, surrounded the central hall together. At the mouth of the hall, the bodies of the civil and military officials stood respectfully on both sides, and directly north of the square at the mouth of the hall was a dragon chair. Above the dragon chair, at this moment is sitting in a dragon robe-wearing emperor. The emperor wearing a flat sky crown, eyes closed, seems to be asleep, hands placed on the dragon chair armrests, a left and a right placed to stalls. Stalls seem to each have a tray above the general. The tray on the left, above the gold silk curtain covered with a thing, do not know what is inside. A tray on the right, above the gold silk cloth curtain was lifted. Inside there was the imprint of a long knife, but the long knife had disappeared. The bodies of the great killing saints. On the left and right, what is placed? The one on the right is the blood prison knife. That's right. That blade-shaped imprint is from the blood prison blade. So, Great Empress Xu was already gone in. No, it can't be. It's impossible for Great Empress Xu to have gone in. Perhaps he used a special technique and took out the blood prison blade early on, only to be at a loss later on. Great Killing Saint. The Divine Blood Army. These are all torsos. 2 trays. One with the blood prison blade inside. What's the other one? To be valued as much as the blood prison blade by the great slaughter saint, it must be an extraordinary treasure. The crowd looked to the sky in surprise. All over the city, countless cultivators were staring at the sky. Some cultivators even rushed high into the sky. However, when they reached the high altitude, they strangely found that it was as if they had pounced on an empty space. and they could not touch the great killing palace in the light and shadow at all. Li Shenji's eyes narrowed slightly as he stared at the sky. Just before, Li Shenji also personally experienced, but simply cannot touch the great killing palace. That is like a mirage, clearly visible, is not touchable. Battalion Master, the great killing 3 palaces appeared. Each palace must be full of treasures, but just can't get it. How to do? Yes, earlier, I saw that Great Emperor Shu also probed the sky and still couldn't grab it. The Bat Ancestor, all the forces, all of them have made a move, but they can't touch anything. What's the difference between this opening and not opening? What's the difference? It was Ancient Sea who opened the entrance. If only Ancient Sea was still around, perhaps Ancient Sea knows how to enter the Great Killing Palace. A group of Shenji camp disciples sighed. Gu Hai. Hey, he just happened to be here. Humph. Even if he was here, what could he do? It's impossible to know how to get in. This is a small world hidden in the void. Gu Hai won't be able to get in, not to mention. Gu Hai is, right now, not sure if he's alive or not. Li Shenji said in a cold voice. Regarding Xiong's pursuit of Gu Hai, Li Shenji was well aware of it. Gu Hai might be dead now. Heh, Lord Li, whether I'm dead or alive, it's not for you to bother. Steeply a voice came from not far away. Who are you? Steeply, the faces of the crowd of Divine Mechanism Battalion disciples changed. As if they were on the verge of an attack, they looked towards the door of the Great Hall that opened not far away. Gu Hai slowly walked out from the Great Hall. Only at this moment, Gu Hai's face was terribly gloomy. Gu Hai, didn't you guys leave a long time ago? Why are you back again? The crowd of Divine Mechanism Battalion disciples revealed a look of surprise. The withdrawal of the people from the Great Han Dynasty had already been known by the crowd of Divine Mechanism Battalion disciples earlier. Gu Hai didn't know if they were alive or dead, but they had also left the city, so how did they come back again? Gu Hai didn't pay attention to the crowd of Shenji Battalion disciples, but looked up at the sky, watching the countless cultivators from all directions rushing high into the sky. But they couldn't even touch the mirage-like Great Killing Imperial Palace. Li Shenji, however, looked towards Gu Hai with narrowed eyes. Not dead, so Xiong assassinated Gu Hai and failed. Mr. Gu. Hey, why are you back again? Li Shenji's eyes narrowed slightly and said in a deep voice. Kill Xiong, Gu Hai said coldly. After saying that, Gu Hai ignored Li Shenji and slowly stepped forward, heading out of the mountain villa. Mr. Gu, where are you going? Li Shenji was surprised. To kill Xiong, Gu Hai said in an icy tone. Gu Hai's tone was very cold, yet it seemed to be filled with boundless determination. Just 3 words. But it made Li Shenji's heart suddenly chilled. Xiong didn't have too much strength. He shouldn't have been so surprised. I don't know why, but Li Shenji felt a wave of shock. It was a look of being stared at by a hungry wolf. It was as if Gu Hai's every action was permeated with a killing intent. Gu Hai stepped out of the mountain villa with 1 foot.